Hello, everybody. It is episode 111 of Free Things with Ian. Just scarfed down some tacos, so I'm trying to make sure I don't have any salsa on my face. Anyway, April 21st, Boston Marathon Day. That'll be a topic we discuss, as well as my thoughts on the passing of Pope Francis. And lastly, we're going to talk soccer, Okay, let's dive in. So today, Boston Marathon 2025, Patriots Day, special day. Like I said before, I never ran the Boston Marathon. I've run some marathons myself, never come close to qualifying for Boston, but I've been an avid spectator, been following it for many, many years, near and dear to my heart. Some of the listeners of this podcast have been with me at Boston as we've watched. So anyway, big deal for me. So let's just do a little recap on some of the highlights from today. We had John Korir Kenyon Cohere. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, he is Kenyan. He won. His time was 2:04:45. That is an exceptionally fast time. I think it's the second fastest time ever. Boston's really weird because it actually has a net downhill, so it doesn't qualify in terms of like the fastest marathon because it has a net decline. Although there's quite a few hills, including Heartbreak Hill. Anyway, though, so 2:04:45 is excellent. I mean, men's marathon times have consistently over the last 10-15 years been sub 2:05, which is just freaking fantastic. I mean, I'm a runner. I'm no bones about it. I'm not a fast runner, and I can't even do a half a mile at their pace. They're doing 26. So they're doing 52 odd half miles that I can't do one. Anyway, pretty cool. His brother won. So first sibling to have both won a Boston Marathon. American Connor Mance turned in a phenomenal performance, 2:05:8. That is blazing fast. So look out for that name. He might be the heir apparent to, we don't have like the go-to American marathoner right now. It's Connor Mance. He's the guy right now, as far as I'm concerned. On the women's side, though, we have a record to talk about, right? Sharon Lokedi, Lokedi. She won the marathon today in a dominating fashion, 2:17:20, shattering the previous course record of 2:19:59. That's phenomenal. I remember 10-15 years ago, women's times were in the middling 2:25s or 2:20s, and they have significantly just shaved off time, gotten faster and faster and faster. And really, 2:17:20, absolutely phenomenal. Good on Sharon there. The previous winner last year, she ended up, I think, looks like she pulled out around the 17th mile. You know, injuries do happen to the best. You can prepare. You can also run a 2+ hour race and you could lose by 1 or 2 seconds. Marathons can be, you can win by minutes or you can win by seconds or lose by seconds. So it looks like the weather was good for this marathon. I wasn't able to watch it. I was at work, but always loved the Boston Marathon. I still remember to this day. I had family visiting in the Midwest. I went for a run, came back to the horrific news about the bombing. When I'm in the middle of a hard run and I'm feeling down and despondent and feeling like packing it in and just going home early, I think about the fact that, there were participants and there were spectators who lost their lives at a race that's meant to be a celebration of humanity and all the best of us. So, when I'm feeling down, I think about those who didn't make it back, to be honest, and it gives me a little motivation and a little extra juice in the legs, just to reflect on the collective sadness that I think that we all still face regarding the marathon bombing, which was a number of years ago at this point. I still remember the outfit I was wearing. I remember the NPR podcast I was listening to. I went on a trail run. Came home, heard the news. It just stays with you. So anyway, good on you, Boston Marathon, for all the thousands of participants who ran their best or just finished it. I applaud you. All right, so a sad story. We lost the Catholic Church's first Latin American pope in a millennia. Pope Francis passed away yesterday at the age of 88. Obviously, he was unwell for some period of time and then seemed to be doing better, and passed away the morning after he celebrated Easter in St. Petersburg Square. What can we say about him? Humility, humble, a pope of the people, a pope who shunned the Prada and the Gucci wearing lifestyle of his forebears, and he was a modest man. He was a Jesuit. I don't really have a relationship with the Catholic Church anymore. Pope Francis was the last vestige. He was the last. He was the last man that I would have happily broke bread with. He is from Argentina. I will say the thing I've always liked about the popes and just religious people in general is they're highly educated. He spoke and wrote in several languages, like 7 or 8 languages, fluent in Latin. Super well read, super humble guy. He had the job for 12 years of leading the 1 billion Catholics, and he reshaped the faith to make it more inclusive. We live in a world where we are in desperate need of inclusivity, of patience, of kindness. These are in short, of openness. He clashed with traditionalists as he reached out to migrants and to gay Catholics and victims of the sexual abuse by Catholic clergy. He sought to improve relations with the Muslim clerics of the world, and he criticized the powerful. I can't overstate that enough. He criticized the powerful for their role in climate change, and he called for an end to violence, right? Pacifism, diplomacy, calling out the bold, calling out the powerful for their inability to just act like a damn human sometimes, right? His influence will be, I think NPR I've had on the background most of the day. It's been just a litany of different people praising him, and I think it's well warranted and it's real, though. He moved to address the needs of the modern church. He expressed support for same-sex civil unions. Of course, love is love. I don't understand why we're still having this conversation. He allowed priests to bless gay couples even while the church continued to bar gay marriage. One of the reasons why I don't feel very connected to them is that we have this antiquated notion that love is only between a man and a woman. He said that transgender people could become godparents. Well, of course. It's so sad that I have to say these things, and it's just like their children should be able to be baptized. Of course they should be able to be baptized. I don't understand this. But, I'm just a simple guy. So the Cardinals, I've watched Conclave. There's no smells and bells, shrouded in mystery. There's going to be a lot of discussion, a lot of secret ballots. I don't know anything about the high-ranking Cardinals. I know it sounds mean. I don't care a ton. The progressive church that Pope Francis envisioned, I hope that we can move towards that. I don't want to go back to a traditionalist approach of his recent predecessors. I want a progressive, open, loving church, right? And it's real when they close up soccer matches. So all the soccer matches in Italy were canceled to in solidarity in mourning for what appears to be an incredibly good human being. His namesake was St. Francis of Assisi, right? The humble friar who dedicated his life to piety and the poor, right? Pope Francis, he shunned all the lavish extravagance that the popes for centuries with their red Gucci Prada shoes and their private apartments, right? He's a man of the people. I think he understood it. He gets it. I'm sad to see him go. I will miss him terribly. Like I said, he was the last vestige that I had, that I believed in a church that could be progressive and could realize that the humanity, that love is love, and that people need to be respected for who they are and where they are at in life. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal for his passing. I know he was not well. I did not anticipate him living to be very old anyway, but it is sad. It is sad. All right, last story. We're going to stick with the European theme a little bit. So as you recall, like I said before, Pope Francis, he was Argentinian. He obviously, he moved to, obviously, Italy and did his whole Pope thing. But anyway, so long story short, Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti is probably the most powerful sports figure in Europe. He coaches Real Madrid, which is one of the biggest clubs to ever exist on the planet. Spain is one of the few countries in Europe where a league title won't save you from a league title isn't enough. So Carlo Ancelotti, older guy, I think he's in his 70s. his second stint at the Bernabeu rather, as Real Madrid's coach is coming to an end. It's been successful. He's won 2 La Liga championships and 2 championship leagues, which is that big UEFA championship that I mentioned before. But the natives are restless, running out of steam. You can see the writing on the wall. Real Madrid is a superpower team that ought not to ever lose or be challenged. They have built the lineup that rivals the Yankees and the Dodgers and the dynasty of the Patriots. They have all the biggest names. They pay all the big monies for all the big transfers. And they are just barely winning games by a whisker. Kylian Mbappe, phenomenal player. He was suspended for 1 match after really an appalling late tackle. He was booed by the crowd, by the home crowd. This is all being held together by bits of string at this point. What's ironic, though, is that Real Madrid is within 4 points of Barcelona, who was atop the La Liga. But it's just so clear to everyone who follows international soccer that the decision has been made. Where will Carlo Ancelotti go? Well, likely he will take the offer to manage Brazil's national team, which is maybe one of the only other jobs that's bigger than being at the helm of Real Madrid. This would allow someone like Xabi Alonso to perhaps, from Bayer Leverkusen, to maybe take over Real Madrid. It is a huge task. Expectations are to not only win La Liga every year, but to compete for every major championship they enter. So we shall see. Ancelotti's not without his critics. Like I said, he's ironclad. He's maybe something akin to a Bill Belichick in terms of you either love him or you hate him. He produces results, but he isn't the most pleasant character to deal with. So interesting that if Real Madrid does win La Liga championship, he will probably still be escorted out. It will be a big changing of the guard. It is one of the top jobs in the world of international soccer. So time will tell. They really should never lose. They have the greatest lineup I've ever seen in soccer. Much to the embarrassment and I think chagrin of people like me who just love good soccer. I don't like when every major player, every national superstar is all in one club. I don't think that makes for very good watching. Anyway, so we say goodbye to Pope Francis, and I think that he'll be buried in 46 days. There's all kinds of rigmarole, and just watch the movie Conclave, which I think is actually, weirdly enough, not streaming anymore on Peacock. I think it was removed a little while ago. Things come and go. He'll be missed. I really hope that the progressive, it shouldn't be radical to be progressive and to be just to be the kind of person he was, but it seems to be something that is harder and harder to find. I wish the Catholic Church, I hope they find a replacement worthy of the Pope Francis that they had and that they did lose. And Boston Marathon, good on you all for running that. Maybe someday I will raise enough money to be a charity runner. I do not see myself getting fast enough, but you never know. Progress is not linear, as I've reminded myself and others numerous times. That is all for today. I wish you the best. Like, subscribe, do all those major cool things. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night.